the crescent moon, which is really hard to study because I think you can only see it for like 15 or 20 minutes at a certain time, like right before sunset. And it also depends on the weather and where you're located on the earth. So there's a lot of things there's like they might not see it here in the US, but like they might have seen it in Egypt, and so they have the beginning of the month, we begin on different days. It throws a lot of Muslims off because we feel like, oh, we should be fasting because it's studying together, but we really. So because the month is only 29, 30 days, it's 11 days shorter than the I call the solar calendar, the Gregorian calendar. So the months shift every year towards like the beginning of the year. So Ramadan is going to start possibly on Monday, and so it's 11 days earlier than it was last year. So that means the months shift throughout the entire year. So the month of fasting is going to be at different times throughout the year. Like eventually it will be in the winter. And it goes back to where it was every 33 years. So, like, for example, this is something that's interesting. People who are born like in Saudi Arabia, they write down their birthdays in the lunar months. So they're actually, like, every 33 years, like, they're a year older. They're like they're 34, not 33, you know, they live another year.
Yeah, we were kind of chatting about it a little bit, and so I thought, well, the wisdom's in the house, right?
So tonight is the new crescent.
So yeah, there's like a certain, and I haven't studied astronomy, but yeah, there's just a certain period of time where you can see it, and it's very hard to see, and you have to see it like right around sunset. And like I said, it depends on where you are in the world, and it's just like when you're eclipses and things like that.
All right, so now we're going to be sharing our spiritual practices so that wisdom's in the house. You remember we began this year, I passed out a bibliography for you all suggestions of picking a book about spiritual practices that you wanted to read all year long. We encouraged you to pick something that maybe you don't practice, kind of move yourself, take a risk, look at some things, and then gave the flexibility too. And several of you picked a book that wasn't on the list because it was sitting on the shelf, but I've been meaning to read this for a long time, or it came along or something. Or it was kind of like how Greg says, you know, there was a book on the list, and then you looked at it, but then it led to this book, to this book, to this book. Oh, that's the book I'm going to share. So I typed up the list again, and actually I realized that the book, I chose 2 books to read, wasn't on the original list either. So I added it to this list. I added the Sacred Art of Listening, the 40 Reflections on Cultivating a Spiritual Practice, and then Brené Brown's book about the gifts of imperfection. So I went and added mine, typed it up. I'm going to pass this around. If you chose a book on the list, would you just put a little check mark by it? Okay? Because what I'm starting the process is kind of collecting information from all of you about the next time we do this. And if there is a book that is not on the list that you read this year, please add it. And don't worry about if you can't exactly remember the title or the author. I'm really bad about remembering authors. I can tell you probably what the book looks like, the cover of the book. Oh, it's this red book, and it's got a mandala on the front of it, whatever. So don't worry about that part if you really can't. But if you can give me a hint as to what the title is or who the author is, and I'll go look it up. And I want to add this to our list so that when we come back to this in 2 years, then we've got the wisdom's in the house. So, okay? So I'm going to send that around. Just take a look at it, put a check mark on it, and do that. All right? So now we're going to share our spiritual practices. So how the frame is going to work here, or the procedure we're going to follow is, I've got everybody's name on a card. Oh, I should say Wendy was having a difficult time with her internet, so she was kind of hearing every other word, and it was just impossible for her. So she's gone on. However, she posted, if you are on Facebook, on Wisdom Way School's Facebook page, she's posted what she wanted to share, and I'll read that. And she asked me to read that for us, okay? But I've got everybody's name on a card, okay? So Gil, if you'll shuffle the cards for me so that you can see that we truly shuffled them. And yes, this is a mandatory invitation. Yes, you must share. You don't have to talk long. It's okay. All right. So if you want, so ask you to share the spiritual practice that you learned about this year, and it could be something that you read, something that, for instance, for me, it's like Sanjay brought a meditation practice that I've tried now and worked with about, is this me or mine? Right? Yes, this is me or mine because, and then is this me or mine? So it might be something that you heard in some of the guest speakers and the things we had, okay? So there's no, yes, I see a question on your face. I might just finish this. Okay, so again, it's coming back to our trust circles. There's no fixing or setting each other straight, or this is the rules for all of this. Just share. Whatever you brought to share today, please share, okay? No, you may not. Because we shuffled the cards, we're going to draw names. Oh, here we go. Well, we'll see how good you are. Maybe you're the card. You're up, right? And the other thing is, we're going to practice. The rest of us are going to be holy listeners. Okay? You may ask a question. That's it. So when the person's finished sharing, I'm going to hold just a few seconds, maybe about 15 seconds of silence, so we can kind of, what were some of the words? No, there were some lovely words you had about kind of sit with it.
Ponder and mull.
Ponder and mull. That was a good word.
Sounds like a British dish.
Yes, we're going to ponder and mull it for about 15 seconds. Okay, and then I'll kind of hold that a little bit. If you have a question, you may ask a question. Okay, so we're gonna practice asking open-ended questions. All right, and if there's no questions, that's fine. We'll just keep moving, on. So, and there'll be a point in time we're not gonna drill this person forever.
Thank you.
Okay, we're not everybody gonna ask a question. Okay. Okay. All right. So everybody kind of got it? Good to go? Now the wisdom's in the house. So, you might hear some cool things in the next book to read or a practice to try. So, okay. All right. Well, let's see if Philip's up first. See who the first one is. It's Carol.
Okay. My book was The Soul of the Pilgrim. And one of the spiritual practices is when you go on a pilgrimage, you have to decide what you're taking with you. You want to pack lightly, so you kind of declutter. So I started out decluttering the room that eventually wound up as my meditation room. And it's amazing, you just sit there and you're looking around, well, that doesn't belong in here. Well, that needs to go. But it also applies to my spiritual practices because I am a collector. And you do one practice and, well, that's good, and then you add another one, and then you add another one, and you wind up, 3 hours in the morning trying to get your morning devotions done. So I've been going through and, okay, this does not bring me joy. This is not helpful to me right now. I can put it aside. It doesn't mean it's not a good practice. It just means that it's not working for me right now.
Okay, we're going to hold silence for about 15 seconds. And then I'll ring the bell.
Can you tell us one thing that is in a meditation room that brings you joy? One thing that brings you joy.
I have a bowl with sand from Aruba and shells and my sand dollar.
Somebody else have a question?
What is one of the many that you tried to live as a good state? You can't let
Good stuff. I had tried meditation in the past and never been very successful at it. And then I got a CD of 33 Tibetan singing bowls. And I put that on and I'm drunk now.
Is there something that was really difficult to move out of the room, but you did it anyway?
I had to excommunicate my cat. Psycho Kitty comes in and she wants to claw the rug and get up in your lap, knock things off the shelf.
The things that you've collected and put in the room, do you feel that there's any kind of theme running through them, or they're very random?
Maybe I'm bipolar, there's two things. I have, the paintings are all of seascapes, and then I have a wall of crosses wherever I go.
Do you have any singing book?
And,
Singing book?
no, I don't.
Who's up next? Connie.
Before this year, I have insisted very strongly in the conscious spiritual practice. Unconsciously or just sort of sporadically throughout my day. It wasn't that I had excommunicated myself, but I didn't have anything that I did that was consciously now I'm going to do this. And I have, it started with the books I read, Women Who Run with Wolves, and I discovered how much my soul needed that time to reflect, to connect, and to accept. And then as I incorporated other books, the book that I read, like Kathy mentioned, The Gifts of Imperfection, the idea of authenticity became hugely important to me. So I realized how often I did who I was. And that was maybe part of the resistance to my spiritual practice, because my spiritual practice is all see not like the instance where my husband and I had kids. And so I have been singing, dancing in the grocery store since I read the book. There are times when I just feel a need to move, and so I've very recently, started integrating yoga because I think my body needs to join my mind, but also, as I learned yoga, my spirit, soul, and that there is something so profound when I feel that.
We're going to hold silence for about 15 seconds. Ponder and roll. Someone have a question?
Music is in very and like Greg and I were just talking about sound vibration. It has to be expressed somehow. In life or circumstance, as for some reason silence my voice, that's when it seems to find its way to me. And it has absolutely nothing to do with it. It has everything to do with the music that I hear. And that's it. Best express.
When you get this feeling of wanting to dance, wanting to move, are there things going on in you that propel you into that? Are they a mixture of things, or are they like maybe you're coming out of a tough time and you feel compelled, or maybe you're just joy? Is it a mixture of all of them, or?
Yeah, it's whatever. It's what music is.
Right.
It's and I do have to say that when I lean into the sharp edges of those feelings, that when I move, that allows me to. So if I'm feeling joyful, I feel more joyful. If I'm feeling sorrowful, I feel more sorrowful. And in that way, I can fully express, and I don't have to shut it down, which I think is part of why my resistance to all kinds of spiritual practice, because I felt and this feels open and creative.
Sounds very freeing.
It is very freeing, and And I'm more and more, I grew up being told I was way too much by pretty much everybody. And so I learned to keep myself quiet, if you will. And so an example of that authenticity coming out is that yesterday I was with my spouse at his powder, and we were at this pottery store, and I was just off doing my thing. But I heard someone talking about being denied an MRI for his L4, L5, S1 problem. And it was like in seconds I was out saying, I need to say something to you about that. And, you know, and I was like, probably seemed like this crazy woman coming from, you know, nowhere. But all this has been going around me, and then suddenly I heard that, and there was no silence in what I needed to say to him about that because of my experience. And I didn't feel weird, and he didn't seem startled or like I was too much. And it's been something to just find that, and that was movement. That was, there was nothing stuck about that.
Thank you very much. You get into the grocery store.
Yeah, sure. It's usually whatever music's going on, so I probably get what's behind my back, but I don't know. You know, there's just, you pick up the and put it in your
Connie, you know I love you, so I'm not putting you down, but it did flash through my mind earlier. Is it like, is there certain aisles that bring that up? Do we prefer the produce market over this part?
Yeah, there's stick. Then you sit into that bump. It's fun. So thanks.
Thank you for sharing. All right, let's see who's up next. See you.
So I had read a couple of books that if, when I just reflected back on what spiritual practice I picked up, it might have been in the Zen book. Maybe it was so it might have been in that book, I'm not sure, but I have been practicing they're called morning and evening remembrances. And they are supposed to be protective prayers to protect you from evil that's seen and unseen and evil. So it's, I've had this little book for a while. It's like written in Arabic and has prayers and I just keep it next to my bed and in the morning say my morning prayers and in the evening say evening prayers. I've started now to memorize prayers. All the time. But, that's what I've been doing for the last like 6 months. I probably started before the retreat, and I actually feel like it's very stabilizing. And I really do open really deep listening, and when you just have stated that the practice is so clean, it was interesting because I was thinking about how my practice was really solid, solidifying, and grounding. And how interesting, how diverse our practices can be, and yet they give us more meaning. And I actually feel like it's really fun. You want to have people to look in Arabic here, but I also put it out with the same learning.
Right, gonna hold silence for about 15 seconds. See what questions pop up. Somebody have a question?
Once you memorize, say the word.
Right, right, yeah. Yeah, like sometimes in the morning when I know like I'm in a hurry, then I feel like I have to do it, but I still feel like there's, even if I'm doing it that way, there's still something that's still around about it. And so rather than just saying, I don't have time, I just need to do it, I'm gonna do it. And I also, the other thing is, I am on the recording, it's not exactly the same on the city that I have in the car, so I use that as a backup if I'm time so that I can at least say it. I don't know if I'm talking about this before, but there aren't, I don't want to kind of big creations, but there are more, God is creative more than just three creatures, but, you know, some creation, before man was created, there were angels and there were jinn. And angels are made from light, and they have no free will. Jinn are made of smoke and fire, and we have free will. And then when man was created, God asked the jinn, the leader of the jinn, to bow down to man. And he refused to bow down, saying, I'm created from this fire, and this man is just created from clay. Why should I bow down to man? It's prideful, very prideful. And thou, the jinn, vowed to kind of be an enemy to mankind and to kind of take them off of God. So a lot of you hear the term Shaitan or Satan. So if you believe in Muslims that there are these creatures or creatures, but that jinn kind of whispered in people's ears and communicated and specifically worked towards getting people who are on the path to go off. When people are already far off, then they're already far off. People who are on the path to God, there's usually so in the like it says in the preface here about the prayers that it's people from Satan and people from people as well. That people who may wish them harm. I probably went into more. No, I just feel more. It's the same as like for some reason I miss a prayer, but if there's a morning prayer, that's when even some things writing before it's completely written. And I've always felt like whenever I miss that prayer, my day isn't on track. Just off to a better start. I think it is probably good. And big, but not a so good. Yeah, I say in there, and so just like it, then does that change their somewhat? I think it's more important saying narrative because this is also these sayings are a practice that happens in the so to say it in the same language, and I'm sure people have heard this discussion before about how scripture can get down in certain languages and the loss of translation and the holiness and the secrets of language and words around. So I think it in a way it takes me off from like I think in English, right? And so it takes me somewhere else. Yeah. It helps me kind of reset. By saying whatever. Right. I mean, to do any of the practices of the topic, we try to do it in the same way. And I forgot to mention this too. One of the other practices that I'm trying to do is eat 7 days in the morning on the empty stomach. That's also a topic. But then it's also effective from evil, but it's also effective as well. So sometimes 7 is way too much. They're really big days. I don't know the dates now are bigger than they have in the day. So I'll be like 1 or 2. And that's also teaching and teaching and thinking and six and
Thank you for sharing that. Patricia.
I started out and read Gifts of Imperfection. So I'm kind of like reading. And I had The Sacred Art of Listening. And then a friend gave me this book who's been really wonderful called Trust Your Guides. And so this has kind of been turned into my practice. I will go back to this, The Gift of Imperfection. It was when I was really in a dark place this year. And as you can see, I did a lot of weird stuff in that. So a lot of work was done in this. And it kind of then led me to other things. And so Trust Your Vibes is about, we're really 6 sense people. Human beings really have 6 senses in this country. So I'm practicing trusting my intuition more and really trying to get connected with that. So in this book, there's every chapter, there's a practice that we do at the end of that chapter for the week. Different ways to get into, I guess, or how would I say, connect with your intuition. Because we all have it, but we just kind of don't use it as much. So that has been really good. So I did that. And then also, I think I did when I was doing meditations with you guys, a huge thing for me too was self-compassion. So that's another practice that I do. So in my meditations, I do meditation. And it's usually around self-compassion, loving myself, doing that, and that kind of helps to ground me too. So this book has been really good too. It's called Mindful Practice on Perfection. And he's a clinical psychologist, and it is based in like the Buddhist psychology type, sort of like that. So it's really been wonderful. So I stayed doing that one. So it's kind of involved in my practices. But the biggest one still is I do meditation in the morning and at night. And throughout the day, and my practice really is being mindful. So to try to connect. And like right now, I've got a lot of space where I can practice this really easily. Like zen, and breathe, and I'm relaxed. And then as things have started to come together to where I know I'm busy, it's now practicing being mindful and being aware of myself and aware of my feelings throughout the day. And so practicing into breathing, giving myself self-compassion by saying, "Don't worry about it. It's okay, Patricia. No big deal. You don't have to be so stressed out. It's going to be okay. It will work out for you. So just let it go." So, things like that, which I was too busy or wasn't practicing. So, those are the practices right now that I'm doing. I think that's the biggest one is just being mindful and connected with myself.
So let's hold silence for about 15 seconds. Somebody got a question you'd like to ask?
I felt really uncomfortable at first. It felt strange. My mind would race all over the place, and it still does. But it was just like I felt so disconnected. And then by just practicing it, it's kind of like what you're talking about is doing that. It started to ground me more and center me more, and then I started to actually feel relaxed, truly relaxed, instead of faking. Fake ass, I will say that out loud. Faking like everything's great, and it's like going crazy inside, And I think that's what happened, just practicing it. But the biggest part of that is being compassionate to yourself and not being hard on yourself and saying, it's okay, it's all right, you're doing this. You're going to get this, it's going to take time. And now it's different in that way. And even if I only do it 10 minutes in the morning, that 10 minutes to it compared to like if I have longer to do that. I just know that if I'm breathing and I just try to quiet my mind and as much as I possibly can, some goes, let it go, come back. It really does make a difference in your day. But it felt very strange at first. I really did really feel. I didn't feel connected to myself or connected spiritually in any way. So, and I feel like what's happened to me is I can't change the situation. I can't change anybody. I can change me. And I can connect with myself and do that work. favorite quote from Wayne Dyer is, if I can remember it right, if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And that's been huge because there's been a lot going on in my life that I can't change at all. But I can change who I am inside or find myself inside. And I feel really uncomfortable with it. Anyways, so, yeah, so I can't project, I think that's what I used to do, is everything else and, all this stuff that's really about me, what can I do to handle those things just like you were talking about. It's complex. But somehow I didn't find myself.
Then, yeah.
So I actually didn't necessarily do the homework. I did read a book at the beginning of class in the fall. It had this soul program. And one of the spiritual practices in it that I tried to kind of adopt was doing taking pictures while you're out walking. And that's something that I kind of did anyway, so again, it was a little bit like, not really adopting something that was real. And so when I got the email from Kathy to come to share the spiritual practice that I added, I thought, well, I guess I didn't really necessarily add one, was what my initial thought was. And then we kind of started reflecting on the class as a whole. And thinking about sitting here every month, you guys, and in a lot of months I would think, I don't know if this is for me or if this is what I need, where I need to be, etc. And over the course of the last month or so, really reflecting on the class and thinking about it more in terms of a spiritual practice, so the class itself being a spiritual practice. And knowing that I feel like I've spent a lot of time over the course of many years trying to find things outside of me that fill a certain void inside, and whatever that may look like. And I can point to lots of different things, either behaviorally or things I've chosen in life to try to fill up this God hole, so to speak. And so constantly kind of looking outside of myself to find something. Like, maybe if I do this, or maybe if I do that, add another degree, have another kid, whatever it may be. And going on a pilgrimage, maybe that would do it, and like kind of come to some sort of endpoint looking outside of myself. And it's over Memorial Day weekend, we were camping outside of Sedona. And very early in the morning, during the camp, my third child was with us, a little girl, in the camp. But the plane was very quiet and birds were singing. And I had a very distinct feeling that my grandmother was there. My grandmother, I had never met my grandmother. She died 6 weeks after I was born. And she was 93 when she died.
So she was born in 1880. And I remember when I was growing up, my mom would always say, the reason you're so picky with things is because you have your grandmother's soul. And she would never, she had this whole story about how my grandmother dragged her around Hollywood trying to find the right shade of lipstick. And so that she was, 90 years old and she's dragging my mother around when she was a young woman. And so I got this distinct feeling that Julia was there. And there was definitely a sense of a statement that you're looking in the wrong place. And whatever you're attaching meaning to outside, to whatever those relationships may be, groups or experiences or whatever, they add to things, but it's not going to ever fill that feeling of void of loneliness that's there. But what came with it was this sense of searching for that lipstick. And again, not outward, but from a spiritual sense, like a lot of strength. That, it's really okay to sit in a group with other people be themselves, you be yourself, and it's all right. And you don't have to keep trying to search for that thing that you think you need. It's already kind of there. And it kind of just makes you easy. So, ultimately, the spiritual practice is that class. Yes.
Hold silence for about 15 seconds. Somebody have a question?
What was that experience like? Was it all very right from there, or was it something that was in the process?
I had a distinct sense that I do not have to very much to say. That person stays alone. And that she's very definitely a guy. And with that comes the idea, I was to kind of put that onto my children. This idea of whose soul did we have? And there was this also distinct sense that actually Lizzie has her own soul. That's who's all my children. So, I have this whole idea of soul regenerator that gets souls out. And so I'm gonna have to maybe reassess that or change that model.
It's just something like it to me.
Not that distinctly. I think that some of it might have been the group that they are not connected at all with any sort of structured spiritual path.
church or anything like that. And I think I was going to kind of relax a little bit, or I wasn't kind of consciously process maybe, so there was kind of a relaxed feeling for me. It's like there are no expectations that we talk about anything spiritual or even deep at all. It's very surface, so maybe like all the subconscious kind of work.
Feel or are you feeling more comfortable with rather than looking to the outside?
I actually was thinking like, I feel like I've got it right now, but I feel like I'm going to forget it. Like I've got it. But somebody's going to have to remind me later.
Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, that's good.
Was actually some of what I said, some of it was, I would not necessarily say that it is something specifically through the 3 years that I've been through. However, I read this book every day, usually in the beginning part of the day. And it takes apart the root of benefit. And it's not necessarily in the form of where you're reading prologue to chapter 73. I do that after I read this. But on May 28th, the statement was probably from the end of chapter 73, the last sentence in the last chapter. Only when you follow the holy rule will you attain with God's protection to the higher peaks of doctrine and virtue that we have pointed out. Amen. Then there's a short commentary. What is the relation of monastic practices following Holy Rule to contemplation? The higher peaks of doctrine and virtue. Certainly, there is no intrinsic connection for all kinds of non-monks attain to a higher level of spirituality without following the rule. What is more, in the spiritual life practices, as such, have to be seen as a mere means to the end of union with God. Still, it has to be insisted that monasticism is very much a set of practices, not a set of ideas. There is something inherently concrete about monasticism. It must be done, not merely popular. Furthermore, even though the monastic practices have symbolic value, it is almost impossible to disentangle the letter from the spirit. We can also note that in many cases, the practice must come before the understanding. That is, before one has practiced something like silence. One does not know what it is. Only when we have done it can we know what it is. And all I can say is that this has been a path that I've been on for a number of years without me realizing it. And it's through the reception into the community of St. Mary of the Annunciation that I've been able to live the practice. There are struggles because we're not closely connected, or we don't live in community so that there's regular prayer time. But I do try to make, well, I'm getting better at saying the 5 offices. And as I say, there are other readings and practices. So anyway, I think, this is who I am. This is my way of treating the going forward from me.
Hold silence for about 15 seconds. Someone have a question?
Well, I would say that we take the 3 values: obedience, stability, and conversion. Obedience was challenged when the plan closed and there was a possibility of maybe another state. And the prior says, no, does that mean your commitment to the community is not valid? And I have to say, well, and then through prayer, work, and study is where all of this helps mold life into the monastic life. And I would definitely have to say that with my living as close as a non-cloistered monk, there's definitely been a conversion. Whatever anger I had, which unfortunately my children and mother were, but was ever they had to live with it. That anger is not there. Also, I still have to live, pay bills, and take care of myself. So dealing with institutions and organizations that can't seem to understand, and that you call 1, 2, and 3 to make sure that you've got some benefits. I think sometimes the people are surprised that they're not being lambasted for some deficiencies. There has always been something about it. And I've always hesitated to use phrases like union with God. And when you read some of the lines of the saints, how they've struggled. And I was at St. Therese that says, God, if this is the way you treat your friends, I'm surprised you haven't learned it. And it's had difficulty answering the question, well, how's your spiritual? I can say it's good, but I don't know how to explain it. At least this way. And, last week in the meditation where I said that kind of the rule that, and I think it's one of the statements in the verse in chapter 4 is to be holy before it's called for. And I had posted something this morning, yes, well, I could say this morning because I think it was like 1:30. And a comment came back that kind of reflected that. So this is coming from outside and not feels evil.
Anthony.
Open heart, but really articulate what I practice or how I live in we should not look for a method or system to cultivate attitude for attitude. Turn that on. When I cultivate anything like gratitude and humility and openness, the more time opens up like a flower and it blooms in ways that I couldn't imagine. I have a little thing that you get. This is he's a shaman. This is from Kazakhstan, and it represents to me just like the Austin therapy, but this is like a possibility thing. And there's so much, so many of us. I mean, the real question in life is, are you awake or do you sleep? And so much is spoken life is sleep, and this dude here, I mean, he's really representing awakened being. There's so many options, so many possibilities. I think it starts with that. If your first response is no, then your possibilities are pretty limited. And it's always easier, I think, to move from yes to no than no to yes. It's so hard to move from no, I don't feel like this, I'm not open to this. I think that once you cultivate that attitude of possibility and what there is, the practices become more useful, the resistance goes down, and when the resistance goes down, then the blessings come forth. So it's really, for me, it's really attitude. And another one, I mean, humility, we call that union. I think one of the biggest things that keeps us from union with our non-human creation ourselves is that we think we're so different. When I'm in union with a cat or a tree, it's that humility comes from the word humus or ground. And we're all nurtured by the same earth, by the same ground. And I think when we recognize these things, we connect, we get out of the way and we connect. And then we don't have those feelings of loneliness that we never want. The universe is always communicating. So I find that cultivating something like humility really nurtures that contemplative desire to feel happy. years, but it's done. I visited the people in my past and worked with them. Came home, dropped on the bed. First, you always do that eye thing. I sold them, she sold them. And then I felt like no doubt. I really wanted to touch that. I didn't say anything, I didn't look at it. I got that popping out. Touch my hand. It's that kind of thing that brings me joy because it's connected. I never had same thing with plants and animals and rocks and people. And cultivating and deepening these attitudes, vulnerability, and imagination, gratitude, openness. Do that. The world, maybe science or our culture sort of reduced to formulas of just first open.
15 seconds of silence. Someone have a question?
That's why I saw I saw the ancient wisdom. Rocks, some humans have to reveal to us. Especially some other meditate, like I like that was small. This one here is from the Badger plant. He's a healing person. I like the idea of he's open, he's vulnerable, he's integrated, he does things, he doesn't do things in the dark, he does it in the light. You see the moon and the sun, so in the dark and the light, the shadow and the light. He's an integrated, he doesn't play games, he's an integrated soul. I like to study these things. Like this one will probably get tattooed. I've modified some. And if I'm not doing my own, I'm interpreting differently than maybe somebody else would. What does it mean that person?
Thank you for sharing. Janet.
The book I read was The Mist-Filled Path, Celtic Wisdom for Exiles, Wanderers, and Seekers. Exiles, Wanderers, and Seekers. Those of us who are looking for something on the outside when it's really in our backyard. I haven't added anything new to my spiritual practices this year, but I've gone back to spiritual practices that I hadn't practiced for 18 years. I have my meditation area set up again. And I have a small altar built, established. I didn't do the hammering. And that's been up since December, since we were in North Country. And there are a few very precious and prized items on it that are meaningful to me. They probably don't mean anything to anybody else, because they're scattered and not one line of thinking. And I have found that it's been interesting to find that the Islamic faith has so much in common with ours, with our Christian faith. I've enjoyed reading the book that Greg suggested. He was holding it and I was talking about it. And I talked to Paul about it and I read it and I read a little bit out of it every night. And I'm at the end of the chapter that I was tired last night and I've been busy all day and I needed to go to sleep so I could get here today. And so I didn't read the quote unquote assignment at the end of the page, which there's always a suggestion of something to do very important. And I didn't get to that part. I just said, not tonight, God. I'm going to sleep. And so tonight I'll read it tonight. Getting back to my morning and evening prayers, getting back to my meditation, and being able to actively research and incorporate the faiths of other parts of the world. Has been very happy.
Hold silence for 15 seconds. Someone have a question for Janet?
Is there something in front of you?
I'm sure there was prayers for other people, my faith, knowing that I wasn't for myself. And knowing that, interestingly enough, that even though I didn't have the strength to participate in what I usually do, but it was okay. I didn't have to do it, to believe it, and to be a part of it didn't require any physical action.
How did it feel picking up these spiritual practices of meditation?
We have the line that we don't see. That having the time not to devote to them. I obviously wasn't doing if I had to. Would much rather if I didn't know. But it was very strange. Either today or tomorrow, depending on the strength. I'm going to dust my piano for the first time in over a year. And it's a joke because everybody who's been to the house knows why, and we all kind of laugh about it. It's half-inch of dust. Of course, Arizona is nothing but dust. And it comes in, and you think you have the whole house sealed, but there's this dust that comes in and it stacks up on everything. And there's dust on the piano, and it has to be. It's time. It's time to feel. Yeah, it's gonna be a little one in the sand. John Dunn, E.E. Cummings when I can get to go. Some songs. For me, music, particularly the rock and roll music, but not this current generation, but songs that I remember from my teens and 20s. It seems to me that they're really hymns. They just don't sound like it to the music, but there's so much in the language and the music. There you go. That's the word I was looking for. 2 women, 1 word, good day.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And the lyrics, if you read them with one perspective, it's a crazy rock and roll song. And if you read them with a different perspective, it's a bit. And so, yeah, a lot of music and a lot of poetry. And a few novels, which. And some bells, and what that tube is called, but it's an A right there. It's the most beautiful sound that I use before meditation. And then I have some wind chimes, and part of my practice is being in my backyard as early as I can get out there. And I have one little bellow. And he comes out as best he can, and we have hummingbirds, and we have butterflies. And I had the most marvelous experience last time. About a week ago, I was sitting on the patio with my coffee, and this hummingbird came from the orange tree, and it's not mine, it's my next door neighbor, well, neighbor. And it came down, and it was about this close to me, and I didn't want to move because I was scared away. But it was just humming and being heard. And then it moved to behind me, and it was looking at my hair. This is red, and it's bright, and I kept thinking, please don't poke me. Please don't poke me. Please don't poke me. And it finally came back around and looked at me. It was so unnerving.
Carla.
Challenge, investigation, sound. Two. So I challenge, see what that was about. And I think the more that I see this kind of work, that I read it all, So I really have to drop it for a little bit, and then you start. There's a process that goes on. I feel like my mind is that in terms of understanding, and I'm part of it to accept those parts of understanding. And then to me, the passion is in. The passion to me was so much understanding, not so much acceptance. It's all in thoughtfully, passion, why started moving towards the chakras and energy. And then I looked and I felt that I had not looked. Then I felt I was moving into behaviors and it's choice. I made choices where I wanted to live. That felt good. And I made choices where, to see if I could do it. I had to do that, and it became really funny. I don't feel sometimes you can actually practice this yourself. You have to be in a situation, unique situations like that. And my mother was 92, she was in home. We were in the process of getting things in the house and being around 4 sisters and feeling like that. Really too far. And I really had to give myself just a minute. I just had to pull myself out of this gravity and saying, you deserve this, and the first 2 all about love, basically trying to please everyone. And I felt the uncomfortableness. This is what it's talking about. That was a really, I mean, I almost have to, I really want to tell my man, thank you for making me feel so miserable. So I had to like step back and just assess that situation. I'm really thankful for that. And then it shifted. Things shifted you when you have that understanding and compassion for yourself. And I was able to express my needs. And I was able to say it without judgment or harm. And it's really funny, they changed it. It was like, you want this? Yeah, I want this. I want to take this home as a memory. And they were really receptive to that. And that really made me realize sometimes you really have to be in interesting situations to see how that works. And families are the best thing to do. They're really, because you don't have that choice, but you can have the choice of this, where you want to see this behavior. I just really, and then the practices that I have been doing up until this point, it's so much more meditations, just learning about what I learned about chakra systems,
so moment. And thank you so much. It's not something you can just put aside and say, yeah, you know, it's integrated in all aspects. So, and I have to say, when I came back, my birthday was yesterday, so I had the twins who were so I took them out, and it's funny, I could feel this in coming home and feeling this transformation. I took them to the dollar store, and I said, you can get anything you want to decorate the house. I found this back. So they were picking balloons. And one of the little ones picked up those candles and picked up 69. And I said, I don't think Mama's there. I didn't want to put them on the cake. Why? I said, I don't know. I still think I was ready to see those lit up. He said, well, Nana, remember your mom's 92? And I said, yeah. And he said, well, if you brush your teeth and eat well, it wouldn't matter. I said, oh, yeah. It was so good, and it really, really made me realize just the whole process of transformation yourself and witnessing and watching yourself go through things of belief systems that you didn't even know you have there and letting some of that go. And he said he was so cute. He said, okay, he goes, you don't have to keep these because when it's our birthday, just give us the 9. I said, that's a good idea. But I really is out of the mouth of grace. He said, you don't have to keep it. You don't have to keep it. And I said, you're right, I don't have to keep that belief system. I'm 69.
All right, 15 seconds. Someone have a question for her?
What does shadow thinking look like to you?
It's like investigating parts of yourself. You know how they consider shadow work, this is kind of considered shadow work. So it's delving into your sensory imperfection, maybe, personality differences. And you see yourself as you. Oh, yeah. I mean, anytime you get involved in a relationship, it's a plan, maybe it's that I think you start doing what you're doing. It's 100% of it. And that's like a big behavior. It's really works sometimes. If someone feels, oh, I just need to do it. So, yeah, I think emphasize with them less choice. And it's such a long-standing pattern. Have more goes down, you're choosing. So the behavior years is spent. That is the hardest thing. Is that that first you feel bad. It also gives you a sense of passion for that and how they trigger your passion. Like, see, my mother was a certain my number just came out. I actually was then I saw how she took certain this goes into messages as a child. This message was very good.
Thank you for sharing, Carolyn. So I think it's probably good that we kind of take a break right now. So let's go ahead and honor the lunch hour so we can kind of move around and get refueled, and then we'll pick back up right after lunch. What I would ask is, let me ask a question. Can we do this in 30 minutes?